Hi everyone, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel. This is the in or out book tag. So first of all, I want to apologise for the way I look. I'm really tired today, but I need to get quite a few videos filmed. I'm feeling like mentally there. I'm just feeling quite physically tired. So if I look a bit down, that's probably why. But that's not why you're here. Basically, this is the in or out book tag, which was started by, I'm going to have to look up their name because I've forgotten. It was started by someone called Rick McDonald, who I hadn't heard of before, but I found this on my friend Robin's channel and I really enjoyed the idea. I've obviously watched Robin's video, but it was ages ago and I can't remember what the questions are. So in this video, the idea is that the creator has come up with a bunch of prompts and you have to say whether you're in, as in whether you like them, or whether you're out, so you don't enjoy them and they're stupid. So I think there are like 30 nearly. Let's get started. 1, reading the last page first. Out. I don't know why anyone would do that. I know that's probably a thing if you're kind of in the middle of a series maybe and you get the sequel and you want to know if your favorite characters have lived, if it's a happy ending, or if there's an epilogue or not. But I can't imagine reading the last page first. That's insanity to me. 2, enemies to lovers. Yes, in, absolutely. I do think that very few authors pull it off well though. It's very much dependent on the author and on my mindset at the time, because sometimes I just want the enemy or like the evil person to go away. 3, dream sequences. Actually, this depends on whether or not the font is italicized. I know this is very specific, but I just really don't like long sections of italicized font to show that you're in like a diary or a different story or a dream or something. So in, if it's told normally. Out, if there's some weird formatting going on. 4, love triangles. You know, I used to actually hate these, and I know that booktube and book blogging went through a massive phase of hating everything that had a love triangle, because everything did in YA in the early 2010s, because they were trying to copy Twilight and the Hunger Games. But nowadays, now that it's not so popular, I am actually in. I quite enjoy love triangles, especially if they're done well. Well, actually, I only enjoy them if they're done well, obviously. They're not my most hated tropes, so I'm in. 5, cracked spines. Out. I wouldn't crack them myself. I would buy a second-hand book with a cracked spine though, that wouldn't bother me, but I wouldn't crack them myself because the idea makes me feel a bit ill. I just really don't like the idea of having cracked it a couple of times and then the paperback sort of just opening on those pages like forevermore. So that's definitely happened to me in the past and I haven't enjoyed it. 6, back to a small town. In, love it. I love some small town drama, and there normally is some if you're going back to a small town. Probably a murder or something, and I'm from a small town myself. So 7, monsters are regular people. I don't really know what this means. I guess it's the whole like, oh, a 700-year-old vampire can date a teenager because he's just a normal person like everyone else. In that case, I'm out. I don't really know what else it could mean, so moving on. 8, no paragraph breaks. Out. Absolutely. How can you read an essay or a book without any paragraph breaks? I don't know who would do that. I don't know if there are any popular books that have done that, but if there are, tell me, because then I'm going to avoid them. 9, multi-generational sagas. In. I am so in for these. So I read Homegoing last year or the year before, and that made me realize that this is something that I really enjoy in my books, and since then I have sought out various different multi-generational sagas. I absolutely love them. I think it's a fantastic way of telling a story, especially like a cultural story, so you can see a family's cultural history. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and if you know of any good multi-generational stories, please tell me. I recently read The Mountains Sing. Absolutely brilliant, loved it. 10, rereading. In, I really enjoy rereading actually. It's not something that I used to ever do up until maybe 5 years ago, because I was always more interested in the newest releases, but then I realised like there are quite a few books that I would like to reread and give another go because I love them and I want to reread my favourites more often. So I think it was actually over lockdown, to be honest, that I started rereading more. I definitely reread some books before that, like The City of Brass, but lockdown #1 was the perfect opportunity for me to start rereading properly. 11, artificial intelligence. I'm probably mostly out. It's not something I love in my books, and to be honest, the AI in Becky Chambers' series, I can't remember her name, and you're probably all going to hate me, is my least favourite character out of all of them. Like in the second book, the AI is okay, but in the first, when the AI is just a ship, an intelligent ship, I couldn't get behind that. I don't really know why. I have yet to read many books where I've loved the AI, but I am open to it. So maybe in the future I will discover an AI that I do love. 12 is drop caps, and I'm gonna have to look this up very quickly because I don't actually know what it is. I feel like it might be the big letter at the start of a sentence. Yeah, so it's when at the start of the chapter you have that massive letter and then loads of lines of text. In, I have no strong feelings. about drop caps, to be honest, considering I didn't even know what they were. 13, happy endings. I am in. I'm all for a happy ending. I do also like it when endings are tragic, but I've got nothing against a happy ending. 14, plot points that only converge at the end. In. I really like it if the plot is so well done that each plot can kind of stand by itself, and then it's been really cleverly done, so then when they do come together the author looks really smart. 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle springs to mind for this one, where everything sort of comes together and you realise like the author has put so much planning into this, so I'm more than happy with that. 15, detailed magic systems. In. I think it depends how detailed. If the author spends too much time focusing on the world building and magic system instead of on the plot or the characters, then I'm probably out, but for the most part definitely in. I love it when the magic systems are explained to me. Brandon Sanderson is a really good example of this. I really like learning the science behind the magic, I suppose. 16, classic fantasy races. So I guess it's like elves and dwarfs and stuff. I'm gonna say out. I like them in my video games a lot. I love being the elf in absolutely everything I play, particularly an archer. But in my books, it's not my favourite. To be fair, I haven't really read very many in recent years, so maybe that will have changed. If there are any good books out there about classic fantasy races, then let me know, but it's just not really something that I gravitate towards. 17, unreliable narrators. Absolutely in. I love it when I get tricked by a narrator, when they've been sneaky all along and then you only find out at the end that they're unreliable as hell. I think that's absolutely fantastic and it's one of my favourite tropes. Why I used to be doing that quite a bit, actually. I would say probably 6-7 years ago, but then all of a sudden they stopped and started focusing on fantasy. But I want more thrillers with unreliable narrators. I think it's fantastic. 18, evil protagonists. In, as long as they are actually evil and they're not just like misunderstood. That's really boring. 19, the chosen one. Don't mind that at all. Absolutely in. 20, when the protagonist dies. Yes, I want my protagonist to die in everything ever, so I am in. I think it's really boring when there's a happy ending and everyone lives, and that happens in so many fantasy books. Other people may die, but the main character often lives, and lives, you know, a tragic life. But I think it's much more impactful when the main character dies, especially when you've been following them around for like 6 or 7 books. 21, really long chapters. Out. Absolutely out. I would rather read a really short chapter over a really long one. I think Malazan comes to mind for long chapters. I've seen my partner read it and they're like books in themselves, to be honest. So I want regular, shorter chapters in my books. 22, French flaps. I didn't know that's what they were called, but in, I like them. They're good bookmarks for a shorter book, to be honest. 23, deckled edges. Yes, in. I really like them. I remember when the craze first started coming about and they were kind of, can't think of the word. Everyone was really excited for them, and now people seem to hate them because they're all kind of disjointed and mismatched and they're hard to turn the page, but I don't find that at all. I think they're really fun and they add an extra aesthetic to the book, I think. 24, signed copies by the author. In. I guess, like, I've got nothing against it, but I wouldn't pay more for it and I probably wouldn't stand in line for many authors to have them sign my books anymore. I used to, definitely. I remember at the first Yauk we spent hours queuing for, there was Rainbow Rowell and Patrick Ness, Darren Shan, and I got my books signed, but I probably wouldn't do that again now. I've got much more interesting things to do. But if a book comes signed, like, absolutely, I'm cool with that, and I probably would stand in line for S.A. Chakraborty or Becky Chambers, to be honest. 25, dog-earing pages. I think it depends on the book, but I'm in cautiously. If it's like a charity shop book that I've bought secondhand, then I would absolutely dog-ear the pages. If it's a library book, I will as well, I'm sorry. But if it's a really fancy hardback that I've paid a lot of money for, then absolutely not. I can't dog-ear those. I also sometimes dog-ear the pages if I know that there's like a glossary or an index at the back, and then I will dog-ear the first page of the index so I know how much actual book I have to read. So in between on that one. 26, chapter titles instead of numbers. But nothing against this, it doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. I don't actually pay attention. So if the author has named a chapter really cleverly, then I'm probably not going to notice, to be honest. That's the end. I think from this we have established that I'm in for most of these, and I don't really have many strong feelings. Maybe my opinions are just average. So thank you so much for watching this tag. I don't know who to tag right now, but I might tag a few people in the description box below, so do check them out. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye!